What'd you make of the Dallas win last night, Dan? Ask you a serious football question.
Whoa.
What do you make of it? Yeah, I mean to go straight to the actual.
I think the bigger story, it's not going to be the bigger story, but I think it should be, is the Chargers. Because the Cowboys played a good enough game to win.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers played a good enough game that they could have won, but they didn't. And you got plays from Dallas and you didn't get plays from the Chargers. And you got this fourth quarter problem with that coach and that quarterback. And they're all in on Justin Herbert because they signed him up. But, I mean, you start to look at the Chargers. They got a lot of talent, but they do not have a bottom line that's respected. And what happened in the playoffs last year, Dallas rebounding the way they did and winning a game like that is, important. I don't know if it's impressive, but it's important. But I look at the Chargers, where are they going? They got Kansas City coming up next weekend. So that was my takeaway from it, that this is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL the first three quarters and one of the worst quarterbacks in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Yeah. Their hallmarks, the Chargers are incredibly talented players, and then invariably there's going to be a fourth and short placed in front of Brandon Staley for either a weird decision that backfires or one where you think all the way up until the snap that this is going to be a weird decision that backfires, and then they lose like last night, and you're wondering, I guess, if they're going to be able to mount anything. Whose conference is it, do you think, in the AFC, Dan? Is it Miami's, Buffalo's, anybody in the AFC North, or is it still the Chiefs' world? What do you got for me on that front?
Still feels like it's the Chiefs. Yeah. It just, as long as you got Mahomes and Kelsey and Andy Reid, it feels like they can make things work. And probably going to have to go to their place too, which gives them a decided advantage.
Right.
Back to Justin Herbert, I said this on my show today. Mm-hmm. Imagine if he played for the Giants or played for the Cowboys and the amount of scrutiny that you face. Like, he is fortunate to be in L.A. where, Dodgers, Lakers, Rams, USC, maybe the Clippers, and then you have the Chargers. So there's not a spotlight on him. And we look at Danny Dimes trying to survive. Dak Prescott, no matter what he does, he's going to be scrutinized. But I think and look, I love him. He's been great. Known him since his Oregon days. But, there's a real concern here. And then you have guys like Mahomes wins these kind of games. That's the difference. Like, we're still waiting for Josh Allen to win this kind of game, a big, big, big game. Jalen Hurts, what he did in the Super Bowl. So Joe Burrow goes to the Super Bowl. You're starting to see these quarterbacks that they win these games. And the Chargers, they have a lot of 3-point games or less, and they don't have a winning record in that.
And what will make it worse, Dan, is if Tua goes, the guy who he's supposed to have been this entire time of his career, the proper choice to draft was Herbert, not Tua. And now look at what Tua's doing right now. McDaniel dialing it up. It's a totally topsy-turvy narrative right now compared to everything else.
You start to look at these coaches, and coaches get fired because they don't find their quarterback. You have to have your quarterback. Chargers have their quarterback, but that coach may get fired.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.